Chandrayaan-3 was all set to make a soft and successful landing on the south polar region of the Moon around 6:04 p.m. August 23. Chandrayaan-3 has been launched at 2:35 p.m. from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh, carries by ISRO's largest and most powerful rocket, the Launch Vehicle Mark III. India aims at soft landing of Chandrayaan-3 on the Moon's south pole. The mission is accomplished and India became the fourth nation to successfully complete the soft landing of spacecraft on the Earth's natural satellite. Chandrayaan-3 is a follow-on mission to Chandrayaan-2, which aims at soft landing at Moon's south pole. It consists of a lander and a rover which has been launched into the space by a rocket called LVM-3 from space station. While the Chandrayaan-2, which was launched in 2019, consisted of an orbiter, a lander, and a rover, because of a software glitch, the craft lost all communications just minutes before it was supposed to land, and later it was crashed. Though it was not a complete failure, the orbiter is still functional and provides valuable data to the organization. The spacecraft is expected to touch down on the Moon on 23 August after a voyage that will last more than 40 days. The craft is set to land on the Moon's south pole, where Chandrayaan-1 discovered the molecules of water and shocked the world by its major success. Chandrayaan-3 consists of a lander Vikram, which is named after Vikram Sarabhai, the rover Pragyan, and a propulsion module. The weight of the Vikram lander has been increased by 280 kilograms from its previous version, and it also carries more fuel to stay on its intended path to the Moon's surface. Chandrayaan-3 has three phases: the Earth-centric phase, the lunar transfer phase, and the Moon-centric phase. The Earth-centric phase involves the pre-launch phase and the Earth-bound maneuver phase, which will help the spacecraft to change its directions. The lunar transfer phase involves the transfer trajectory phase, which will help it to choose the path that will lead it towards the lunar orbit. The Moon-centric phase involves all steps from lunar orbit insertion to landing. The lander will touch down on the Moon's surface with a horizontal velocity of less than 5 meters per second, a vertical velocity of less than 2 meters per second, and a slope less than 120 degrees. India has become the first country to soft land near the South Pole region of the Moon. All the previous landings have been near the Moon's equator. The South Pole has various minerals and waters that have not yet been explored. Chandrayaan-3 has a budgeted cost of around 615 crores. Meanwhile, the movie Adipurush cost 700 and Brahmastra 450 crore, as per reports, which is collectively higher than the Chandrayaan-3 overall budget. Furthermore, the latest Moon mission is way cheaper than the budget of space-based movies like Interstellar 1,368 crore rupees and The Martian 885 crore rupees. Moreover, it costs almost a quarter of the most expensive home in the UK, which is located in London's most prestigious neighborhood, Regent Park. It went on sale at $419 million. A single Falcon 9 rocket launch from Elon Musk's SpaceX costs about $67 million, similar to the entire Chandrayaan-3 project. Footballers Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Kylian Mbappé are the top 3 highest-paid sportspersons in 2023. At $119.5 million, American basketball player LeBron James is the 4th highest-paid athlete of the year. All of the stars individually cost more than the Chandrayaan-3 mission. Despite of the tight budget, India managed to land on the Moon after 2 failed tries, whereas the USR failed 5 times with its Lunar 1, only gaining partial success in one mission before successfully landing the Lunar 2 on the Moon in 1959. The US, on the other hand, failed 15 times before successfully landing Ranger 7 in 1964. For comparison, Russia's Luna 25 cost roughly 1,600 crore. America's Apollo 11 costed way more than that, since it was the first manned moon mission back in 1969. Chandrayaan-3's total cost comes down to around 615 crore. The Indian spacecraft will measure the near-surface plasma density of the Moon's soil. The Chandrayaan-3 will also measure seismicity around the landing site of the Moon. The mission will help in discovering what kinds of chemicals are found on Moon's soil. Chandrayaan-3 is a satellite, lofted by a rocket. Its successful journey thus far showcases India's power in space science. Chandrayaan-3 has to drop its speed from 1.68 kilometers per second horizontally, changing direction to make the craft vertical and finally bringing it to zero after making a soft landing on the Moon. The reason why Chandrayaan-3 is slow is that ISRO does not have powerful rockets like NASA, which can take Chandrayaan-3 directly to the lunar orbit. Chandrayaan-3's success will be determined during the final 15 minutes on August 23, Wednesday, when the lander will perform the critical technical maneuver to make a soft landing. In the final maneuver, the lander has to change its position from horizontal position to a vertical one and minimize the speed of descent before the touchdown at 6:04 p.m. The final 15 minutes on Wednesday evening will determine the success of the mission, which former ISRO Chairman K. Sivan has described as 15 minutes of terror. Chandrayaan-3's landing is scheduled at around 6:04 p.m. Indian time on August 23. The lunar craft has completed its second and final deboosting, where its orbit was reduced to 25 multiplied by 134 kilometers around the Moon. When the craft is 30 kilometers from lunar surface, it will undergo rough braking phase, where the lander's horizontal velocity will be significantly reduced from 1.68 kilometers per second to almost zero for a soft landing. There is a very sharp difference in temperatures just above and below the surface of the Moon. A graphical plot showed that while temperatures on the surface were over 50 degrees Celsius, they dropped to nearly -10 degrees Celsius, just a few millimeters below the surface. The measurements suggested that the topsoil of the lunar surface did not conduct heat very well and insulated the subsurface from heat. India is not the only country with an eye on the Moon. There's a growing global interest in it, with many other missions headed to the lunar surface in the near future. And scientists say there is still much to understand about the Moon that's often described as a gateway to deep space. The Chandrayaan-3 is a space project after a long time, and its success determines that the humans have much more to do in the deeper space. From its dream to its launching to its successful landing, all points out the man's struggle and will. Space is so deep and has many secrets in it, but our main aim is to explore it with time. Everything happens on its time, and I think Chandrayaan-3 is destined to Moon as Moon is done for India. For more such video, please like, subscribe, and share.